Greetings.
Bismillah wa salatu wa salam wa rasulullah wa ba'da. Name of Allah with a peace and blessings will Allah be upon us, last and final messenger, family, friends, foes, haters, and hatettes. Welcome back to the Feachaz, and greet you all in peace and love with no hatred in my heart. Assalamu Alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So before we begin, please like, please subscribe, and please share. As you know, we got a hell of haters up at this piece, baby. You know what it is. You don't know what it is, okay? People be hating on us like crazy, okay? So make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share. You know, the Black grassroots media, the Black Muslim grassroots media, you are the Black Muslim grassroots media, okay? So what we do here, you gotta share. You are the ones who gotta share, okay? I'm doing my part, y'all do your part, okay? I make the content, you like the videos. Okay, I say something, you comment on it. Okay, when I put out these lives, you make sure you share. All right. So, family, ones in the chat, if y'all can hear me, ones. Put up your guns and put up your ones if y'all can hear me. If the sound is okay. 1 second, y'all. And today's topic, it's probably gonna be like probably a series we're going to do on this particular topic, the buffer class rebellion, because many things are coming out, which is essentially exposing the real intentions behind the buffer classes. Those of y'all, you know, who claim brotherhood, but really ain't really about it like that. Y'all hearing me? You're not really about the brotherhood like that. You have been trained very well by Zaddy and them to make sure you prioritize nations and borders that Zaddy have given you over everything. You know, you didn't make these borders. You didn't make these nations. It was Zaddy and them who decided what your borders and nations is going to be. And because of decide what your nation's borders are going to be, you basically work off of that. Okay, that's how y'all be working. Y'all hearing me? So, buffer class. What is a buffer class? For those of y'all who don't know what a buffer class is, we're going to define it for you. We're going to give a brief explanation. We'll probably go into another live where we go deep into the buffer class. But how did the buffer class become a thing? What is a buffer class? So during the beginning decades of slavery, the colonizers, you're talking about your British, your French, your Dutch and whatnot. They were, as you know, they're kidnapping Africans to go into the new lands to essentially till and build up the lands and whatnot. We all know this. This is, you know, we all know, we understand the slavery part. And what happened with the British is that they did something unique. Okay. The British, what they ended up doing is, because if y'all know about the British Empire, there's like several different parts of the British Empire at that time. Okay. So you have what we now call Britain, and you had the Scottish, and then you had the Irish and whatnot. So they were basically having their own thing against the Irish. It's a very well-known history where the British were basically the oppressors of the Irish, okay? All right, they were the oppressors of the Irish. So what the British would do is that they would essentially have a large immigrant population from the Irish, from their and debtors, the people who were debtors, and people who were, who were, you know, criminals or whatnot. And they made a deal with these folks, and they said, you know, look, we will send you out to these new lands to be indentured servants for your British counterparts so that you can work off your debts. You can work off your debt to society and being criminals or whatnot. And that's pretty much what happened. Okay, so they started sending the Irish over. And the Irish, they don't know nothing about this new system of race or nothing like that. They don't know anything about that. Okay, they're going out there because they are the underclass in Europe, and they're trying to work off their debts, working off their crimes, whatever. Right? Europe was slavery was essentially the driving engine that moved Europe out of feudalism into capitalism. It was slavery that did that. Okay, so, but I digress. They were under feudalistic systems in Europe in these times. So because they were under this feudalistic system, it's very easy to oppress people. Okay. So now you have a whole class of a different type of Europeans ending up in the New World now. Okay. And discernibly, there was really little difference other than the race between the indentured servants and the actual slaves, right? Because remember, slavery is a new thing. It's just starting to be, defined, and it didn't just start off this thing where black folk were perpetually to be enslaved. Okay, it didn't start off like that. It ended up like that as the system kind of developed. And then the European colonial powers started to reap the benefits of their new free labor. Okay, so these indentured servants, they're working alongside with the Black Africans, and as with any class system, once the lower class people start getting populated, the higher class people start worrying about their power over the lower class people, especially with regards to demographics and population. And during the early years, you would find some rebellions breaking out here and there, where the indentured servants and the slaves would rebel against their colonial masters. So, if you want to read more about, there's a popular rebellion. It's called the Bacon's Rebellion. If you want to see more about that, but that's on your own time. We're not going to talk about that right now. I'm talking about right now. What we're talking about is the buffer class. So, what did the colonial masters do to curb this? Because the Irish had much more in common with the black slave than they did with their colonial masters. Okay. And they had more, not just in common, but the struggle was quite similar to their black counterparts. So how did the colonial masters decide to stop this phenomenon? Does anybody know? Somebody put it in the chat if y'all know. Where are my intelligent black folk? Where are my intelligent black folk, intelligent Muslims? What did the colonial masters do for these Irish in order for them to now not just work for the better interest of their colonial masters, but willfully do so and gleefully do so? What did they do? Does anybody know? Does anybody know? I want to see some answers in the chat before I answer this for y'all. Okay. Remember, there is little distinction. There is distinction, of course, because of course, black folk were very clearly, had a different category. Thank you, Sister Tika. Thank you. Thank you. That is exactly what happened. They classified these Irish as white. And when they were classified as white, they got the privileges and benefits of white people. You get it? So why is that important? It is important because ever since the colonial masters have figured this thing out, they realize they can control people based upon this specific classification. Do y'all know some folks who like to call us brothers and stuff who fought to be classified as white? Somebody put it in the chat, please. Which is going to bring us and segue us into this talk that we're having today. Because y'all saw the thumbnail, y'all saw Dr. Umar Johnson, y'all saw Butch Ware. And this is not something we can tackle all in one sitting, because so much is going on and it's coming directly from this thing that just keeps popping up over and over and over again. And if you don't understand the history of it, you're not going to understand why it's happening today. Thank you again, Sister Tika. Again, it's the Arabs. It's the Arabs. Thank you, Muhammad al-Misri. It's the Arabs. They fought to get this classification. They fought to get this classification. During the turn of the 19th century, okay, through the Homestead Act and other things, okay, Europeans who were not historically classified as white started getting classified as white in the West in order to, to nurture immigration from Europe into these new lands. You got to remember, pre-slavery and pre-World War I, the demographic in the West was dominantly black Africans. During the times of slavery, there was 5 black folk to 1 white person. Some numbers say 6 to 1. Okay? It was dominated by black people. And as with any class group that is of the upper class, they were always worried about the demographics of the lower class folk. So what happened? What happened was the Homestead Act. The Homestead Act essentially started classifying other folks as white, started classifying the Italians as white, the Polish as white, the Germans as white, and started bringing these people through as immigrants in order to boost the white population and quell the black population. That was the specific purpose of it. So they gave millions of acres of land for free to white folks, these newly found white folks. In Brazil, what they did is that they started bringing hundreds of thousands of Japanese into Brazil to mix with the black folk in Brazil to lighten the population, which is why you have now the thing called, we have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and all this kind of stuff, right? That's what they were doing. Okay, but pretty much every single country had their own way of doing things. This is how it was done in the States. That's how it was done in the States. But the point is, Arabs fought for this classification, and they got it. They got this classification, which brings us up to today. Right now, we are seeing hell on earth break out in Palestine. Done broke out in Palestine. Benjamin Netanyahu all but declared his mission accomplished in Palestine because Palestine is no longer livable. He's doing the same thing right now as we speak to Lebanon, slaughtering the Hezbollah leaders today. Slaughtering the Hezbollah leaders today as we speak. Now, we talked about many times, okay, that the black struggle is in fact the Muslim struggle. What has been done to black people is being done to the global Muslim community. But y'all are still, y'all are so slow and so far behind trying to help Zaddy and them. These folks who have this robust history of not just dividing you, giving your alleged countries names and things of this nature, but making sure that you remain divided based on race, based on country now. It used to be tribal, now it's country. And all kinds of weird things that really have nothing to do with Islam as a whole. Now here in the West, what is happening is you find with these elections coming up in the US, these groups, these alleged Muslim groups, okay, who allege to be practicing Muslims, this is what they're saying, and they're ordering you to pick either a devil or a demon. You could pick the devil and Kamala Harris or the demon and Donald Trump. This is what's happening right now. Whereas black folk, we're speaking with a voice of quid pro quo. We are saying, listen, these days of us giving the Democratic Party our vote for free are over. We're not doing that no more. Black folk are asking, where's the check? Cut the check. That's the only thing they want to hear. If you're not cutting the check, we're not voting. That's what the grassroots is saying. The real question is that if you are somebody, because the black agenda is actually something that coincides with the wider Muslim agenda. The call for reparations will eventually be a call for the wider Muslim community for what's going on in the Middle East. Remember, we said this. What they've done to us, they about to do this. They doing it anyways. We said this, right? So y'all about to ask for reparations for Palestine, what they did in Palestine. Y'all about to ask for reparations for what they did in Lebanon. Y'all getting ready to do that. But I digress. That's for a different topic for a different day. The whole point is that black folk are asking for reparations. Okay. Muslims, the reason why they're flip-floppy is because what is happening in Palestine and what's happening in Lebanon today. But the Muslims now, particularly the immigrant community, all they want to do is participate in Zaddy's devilish system. How do you pray to Allah and then vote for the devil? Somebody explain to me how that works. How do you pray? How do you ask for Allah for good and cast your vote to some of the most evil people in human history? How does that work? And on top of that, you claim it to be Muslim. But I digress. We're going to watch some stuff here, okay? Before we build this up. Like I said, y'all better be liking, subscribing, and sharing, okay? You are the whatchamacallit, the information tool behind spreading this information, okay? That's y'all. Okay, I just put it out, okay? Anyways, 1 second, family. Let me get this up for y'all. One second, family. This is the first one I want to show y'all. Now, this is one of the most retarded things I've ever seen, right? These folks are claiming to be, anyways, I never heard of them before I saw this anyways, but anyways, let's watch this, y'all. Let's watch this.
Tonight, The first national Muslim organization that had been uncommitted to President Joe Biden is endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris.
I think that this election comes down to the decision between an authoritarian regime and a democratic government. Vice President Harris has a proven track record. She has been the best on many issues that pertain to my community.
The group, the Black Muslim Leadership Council, was founded earlier this year to both call for a permanent ceasefire in the Middle East and to advocate for domestic issues impacting Black people. Salima Suswell is.
See what I'm saying about these folks just popping up from anywhere in order to draw your attention to your oppressors? They look like us, dress like us, eat with us, go to the same masajid as us, and just to keep us in the same spots that we've been yesterday. This is what they're doing. Where are these grassroots? Where are the Black grassroots people talking about, yeah, we vote for Kamala Harris because we worried about, fascism and stuff like that. Where are these folks talking about? This is coming regardless, okay? Y'all better prepare because the fascism is coming regardless. You need to prepare for when that thing comes. You're not going to delay it, especially for voting with Kamala Harris. That is insanity. They make their own groups in order to draw people to those groups, fund these groups, and tell these groups, tell your people to come vote for us. This is what they do. Muslims are talking about we uncommitted. You know why Muslims are saying we uncommitted? They're saying that we're uncommitted because they were Democrat to begin with. They're Democrats to begin with. They were liberals to begin with. But because they think that Biden somehow is solely responsible for the genocide in Gaza, they say, well, guess what? We're not going to vote for you next year. That'll learn you. Like, what are you guys talking about? Okay. The issue with Israel is a bipartisan thing. It don't make a difference if it's a Republican or a Democrat. They're going to be pro-Israel. So you have to leverage what you have to leverage against the Israeli lobbies. But I digress, right? This is insanity. This is total insanity. Let's keep watching, y'all, in a second.
The group's founder and chief executive. Why do you think it's important to endorse Vice President Harris in this moment?
During Netanyahu's address before Congress, she decided not to attend. She also has repeatedly called for a ceasefire. And I believe that she has expressed empathy towards civilian life in Gaza as well.
You know who else called for a ceasefire? Joe Biden. Like, what are we doing here? These symbolic gestures ain't got nothing. Like, Black folk, anyway, the Black folk grassroots anyways, we ain't down with the symbolism anymore. We don't care if you went to an Netanyahu speech or not. Cut the check. That's what we're talking about. You ready to cut the check? If you're not cutting the check, then you're not getting the vote. That's what the Black grassroots is saying. What it seems like to me, I'm just guessing here, but it seems like to me, Benjamin Netanyahu is trying to expedite the genocide in Lebanon before the U.S. election to relieve the pressure off of whoever's coming in to power next, whether it's Harris or whether it's Trump. But we're going to talk about Harris and Trump another day. But the point is, I'm very, very sorry to the sister, but the position that we have on democracy in general is that it's a kufri system. It is an oppressive system, and you don't just give away your votes based upon an unproven statement, especially from someone who with Kamala Harris with a long track record of arresting black folk. Remember, Kamala Harris would put it out on this channel here. Well, I ain't about to give anything just to black folks. No. She wanted to tell black people to vote for black folks. Nobody knows who this organization is, and that's what they do. We talked about this with the protest. Particularly the Palestinian protest. We said that the Muslim community, especially the Muslim community, more so than the black community, is very prone and open to infiltration because they don't know what's going on and they just want to put themselves forward. They want to put themselves forward like this. But I digress. Let's watch a different one, y'all. Like, subscribe, share, hit me up on Patreon, family. Don't forget to support the channel with super chats. Don't forget to support the channel with Buy Me a Coffee. Don't forget to support the channel with PayPal. Let's get this going. 1 second, family. 1 second, y'all. We'll get the next one now. Heard enough. Like, this is insane. This is totally insane. Let's vote for Kamala Harris. She called for a ceasefire. You must be kidding me right now. How many politicians call for a ceasefire? Y'all are tripping. Even Republicans calling for ceasefire today. Okay, like, what are you saying right now? Anybody can call for a ceasefire. Anybody can say that. Did Kamala Harris say, we are going to stop shipping weapons? We are going to stop sending you money? We're going to stop funding this? Did she say anything like that? We need a ceasefire. Let's get a ceasefire. Like they always do. You know what they do with black folks, family? Whenever they want to appease or calm down black people for riding the street after some injustice, from the thousands and thousands of very open and plain injustices that these wicked demons do. You know what they do to calm us down and keep us quiet? Well, we're going to enact this law. We're going to put in legislation like Kamala Harris, anti-lynching law. Now you're not allowed to lynch. Like, what in the hell? What in the hell? What the hell? What are you talking about? Anti-lynching law? Because lynching was, it was legal before, but now we have to stop it. We got to stop the lynching. 1 second, family. Here's the next one. Now watch this bone and biscuit. Watch this biscuit over here. Try to find it, y'all. 1 second here. Where is it? It just had a 1 second, family. Did I lose it? I think I lost it. 1 second. We got to try to find this thing again. Here it is. I'm going to put this thing up. This one just as crazy. This one here is just as crazy. Let me pull this one up, family. I'm going to pull two of them up. This one and another one. All right. Now watch this, y'all. Donald Trump is winning over Muslim and Arab voters. Did you see the title? This is Newsweek, family. Donald Trump is winning over Muslim and Arab voters. Donald Trump is gaining ground with Muslim and Arab voters, fostering growth, growing with President Joe Biden over Israel-Hamas war, according to new poll. Biden's response to the conflict between Israel and Hamas has drawn backlash from many Muslim Arab voters who supported his campaign in 2020. See, y'all are just slow. I'm sorry to say, you, the immigrant community, very, 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 very slow. Very slow. Very slow. You vote for your own oppression. You vote for your own colonization. And on top of that, you side with the actual white supremacists who hate you. And it's happening at a scale that I couldn't even imagine in 2024, especially on social media. Siding with the white supremacists that hate you. Literally siding with the white supremacists that hate your guts. Just ask Daniel Haqiqatjou, who told you to go listen to Nick Fuentes. This is one. Let me get the other one. 1 second, y'all. There's a video too I want to show y'all. Let me just try to shoot if I can find it. Like, this is totally bonkers. So you have one set of Muslims who want to vote for Biden. You have another set of Muslims that want to vote for Trump. Because, one set of Muslims want to vote for Harris. You have another set of Muslims who want to vote for Trump. Right, let's get this one up here. This is the one I wanted to show you, I think. 1 second, family. Now watch this, y'all. This is insane. This is insane. Let me get this up. And I'm supposed to be the one that's tripping. Watch this, y'all.
Amir Ghalib, the mayor of Hamtramck, Michigan, has endorsed former President Donald Trump for the upcoming presidential election. Ghalib, who leads...
Sorry for that accent, but basically this Indian lady saying, as this dude, okay, he's the mayor of Hamtramck, Michigan. That city, Hamtramck, Michigan, is the only completely Muslim-run council in the United States. 100% Muslim. And he openly is endorsing Trump.
That's stupid.
He's openly endorsing Trump. You couldn't make this like, if somebody wrote this 10 years ago, people would say you're crazy. That's what people will say. People will say you're crazy. People wouldn't believe this crap. May Allah reward you and bless you and multiply for you a millionfold, brother Muhammad Masri. Kamala, ceasefire now, Kamala in office. I'm not going to do something that only benefits Palestinians. Well said. That was awesome, bro. That was excellent, man. Well said. Well said. That was incredible, man. I need to make this a bumper sticker. Anyways, family. There is a party, and we're gonna talk about this in detail, that they're running on actually making sure that Israel does not get not only just weapons, but funding for their colonial project. Okay? They're making sure they don't get both. Okay? And they're running on reparations for black people. Does anybody know what this party is? Does anybody know the name of this party? Their platform is actually to end this, parasitic relationship with Israel and to get reparations for black people. Who is this party? Does anybody know who this party is? Let me see y'all in the chat. Again, Sister Tika, again, the Green Party. It's the Green Party. And on top of that, they have an actual Muslim as the running mate for, I think it's Linda Steiner's name. His name is Butch Ware, right? He is a longtime activist, black activist, and practicing Muslim and grassroots person. But Muslims out here, and I do not understand how you can be a self-respecting Muslim. You call yourself somebody who worships Allah, Azza wa Jal. I don't believe in a democratic system at all. I believe it's a kufri system. I believe it's a kufri system. Okay, that's my personal belief. I do not trust the system at all. Okay, I do not believe that I believe that you're giving away your votes for nothing is an act of treachery at bare minimum. And I definitely believe that you giving your votes away to either Donald Trump or Kamala Harris as a self-respecting Muslim who reads the Quran, who understands the Quran and the Sunnah, about anything nominal about the Quran and the Sunnah, you should know enough that you cannot say that you worship Allah and vote for the devil at the same time. You can't do it. Both cannot be true in the same reality. Bare minimum, you should know that. Bare minimum, you should know that. But if your strategy is to end what is going on in Palestine and Lebanon right now, then how are you voting Democrat or Republican? How is that a thing? When there is a party who is running on the very platform that you want. If you believe in a democratic system, if that's what you believe. Which now brings us, now that we have described and we have introduced you to the revenge of the buffer class, we're talking about the immigrant Muslims, these new immigrant Muslims who just got here, trying to participate in Zaddy's system and just flopping all over the place like a fish out of water. Vote for Kamala Harris. No, vote for Donald Trump. Like, like y'all are tripping. Y'all are straight tripping. Let us listen to now to something that Butch Ware said, and we're going to connect this to Dr. Umar Johnson, okay? 1 second, y'all. Like, y'all are so crazy. I mean, if you are participating in this democratic, if you insist on doing it, at least get the thing that you're asking for. What is the main thing that Muslims are asking for today? What's the main thing that black folk are asking for today? If you're going to vote, give your vote to the party that is going to give you the thing that you want. So you're going to just hand over your vote for free to have the same status quo going on in the Middle East. Like, very good. Very good. Good luck to you, buddy. Anyways. Let's have a look here. There we go. 1 second, family. Now, family, this was put out recently, right? I actually wasn't going to mention Butch Ware. I was only going to talk specifically about Umar Johnson, but this was so powerful that I had to bring it up. Okay, I had to put this in. Right, this is a late edition, right? So let's just check it out, family.
Why can't people understand this? If you platform anti-black racists, you are participating in my oppression. You are saying it's okay to intensify the oppression of black people as long as it helps Palestinians. What is in the back of your mind when you wrote that?
At the front of my mind was Candace Owens. Candace Owens said that George Floyd died from a fentanyl overdose and that the officers did nothing wrong. Candace Owens justified the murders of Trayvon Martin, Ahmaud Arbery, Sandra Bland, every single black person killed by police violence. Candace Owens had an explanation to make white folks feel comfortable about it. So understand that, like, if you platform that kind of person, that is what you are platforming. You are legitimizing state violence against black people just for being black. And it
Do you see why we brought this up? The same folks that want you to support Palestinians in Lebanon and whatnot, they also support the people that are totally monetizing your destruction. Those folks who want to monetize your destruction, they support them. Ask Daniel Hakikachu. Ask Muhammad Hijab. Ask Ali Dawa. Ask Abdullah Andalusi. Ask Eddie from the Dean Show. The most massive platforms in YouTube spaces support the very people that are hell-bent on monetizing your destruction. And yet they're calling the Muslims to support Palestine. The revenge of the buffer classes, family. This is what it is. This is what it is. Black folks who have zero history of running around through the earth, oppressing other people groups, and I mean zero history of that, are now getting it from our alleged Muslim brothers. And the ironic thing is that their struggle and our struggle is the same. That's the ironic thing. Their struggle and our struggle is. And they would rather be on the side of the oppressors than the side with the oppressed. And Allah is always with the oppressed. Allah is always with the oppressed. We're going to keep watching, y'all. Let's keep watching this out.
It leads to a secondary problem, which is one of the things that I'm most known for in the Muslim community before, October 7th, was being an absolutely relentless critic of anti-black racism in the Muslim community. And it's and somebody that can comment on its history from a standpoint that's informed by scholarship. So just to be clear about this, the Muslim community has a major anti-blackness problem that is, to a certain extent, being papered over by the solidarity that we are seeing in the pro-Palestine movement. But you see.
Do y'all know a channel that's been covering this for a long time? Do y'all know a channel that has been openly and relentlessly and fearlessly fighting this very pungent and stank racism, anti-black racism, against other alleged Muslims? You know a channel like this by any chance? You know a channel like this has been doing this for like pretty much since they started? You know a YouTube channel like this? Despite all the hate and people like big YouTubers sabotaging the channel for doing this. Muslim YouTubers. So he is just echoing what we've been saying all the time. And on top of that, he's been doing this on his side, right? We are Salafi on this side. He's a Sufi, okay? We're not in the same, you know, I believe he's Ashari, right? But we're seeing the same thing. But I digress. Let's keep watching, y'all. Let's keep watching. Like, subscribe, share. Me have a Patreon, family. 1 second, family. What in the world? What is this going on here? 1 second. 1 second. This better not be right. 11 likes? Yo, y'all, listen, okay? I know we dusty. I know we dusty here. But 11 likes? Get the likes up, y'all. Get the likes up, y'all. The bare minimum you can do is like. It don't take much work to do that, okay? Don't make me have to, okay? Let's keep watching, y'all. 1 second.
See it surface from time to time when people try to insist that Sudan, okay, and the genocide taking place in Sudan be brought to the forefront, that the genocide in Congo be brought to the forefront. You will literally see people in the pro-Palestine community, non-Black people, like try to tamp that conversation down. This is about us. Pay attention to this struggle. And the reason why I was framing things from the beginning in 2021 at Zionism as white supremacy is if you understand Zionism as its founders did, as an iteration of white supremacy, then you realize we are all engaged in the same struggle. Indigenous people are engaged in one struggle. Palestinians are engaged in one struggle. Black people don't have a problem with the carceral state. We have a problem with white supremacy. Mexican Americans don't, and Central American people don't have a problem with U.S. immigration policy. We have a problem with white supremacy. If you understand and you read white supremacy as the common root of the common illness, then you're all standing together in the struggle against it. But if you think that this is about getting my people free, whether my people are Black people or Palestinians or indigenous people, then you have fallen for the divide and conquer technique. And inserting these loud anti-Black voices that have made a living facilitating the extra legal murder of Black people. Tucker Carlson literally said that Michael Vick should be given the death sentence for dogfighting. In 2008 or whenever it was. These are people that are literally painting targets on Black folks' back. So when you platform them, you are betraying the movement because you are saying that I am going to prioritize the liberation of my people at the expense of yours. It's what Black folks call crabs in a barrel syndrome. Okay, the crabs in a barrel, in order to get out, they got to crawl on top of the other crabs that are on top of them, and they just keep doing it, and so nobody ever gets out of the barrel. And this is how colonialism works, by the way. It creates race, then governs you on the basis of race. And so then you even start to think of your capacity for resistance and bandwidth for resistance as operating within this silo. So it's like, no, pay attention to me. This is my moment. And what is it costing? It's costing the common solidarity. So it's actually not just historical. The reason why I'm trying to think that we frame things in terms of white supremacy, it's very much forward looking, because if we understand that the struggles that Black and brown people face, and that indeed that all colonized and oppressed people face, are the same. If we realize that white people that apostatize from white supremacy are our friends and not our enemies, I don't have a problem with white people. I got a problem with white supremacy. And many of the agents of white supremacy are Black and brown people like Candace Owens. So keep them off your airways and keep, essentially, all I will say about that is that it's incredibly costly to solidarity, and extremely short-sighted.
Just wanted to let that play out, because now you're hearing Butch Ware say the same thing. Where are YouTube and that elites now? Where is Eddie from the Dean Show now? Talk about Donald Trump and stuff. His whole Twitter is MAGA. His whole Twitter is MAGA. But he mentioned a few things in here which coincides with the viral video of Dr. Umar Johnson on the reason why he left Islam. And one thing that he said, Butch Ware, is that these folks, your alleged brothers, right, will throw you under the bus at the cost of communal solidarity based upon race. They will do that, and they do that. And they do that. So if y'all haven't seen the viral video of Dr. Umar Johnson, we're going to get into that now. 1 second, family. One second, y'all. One second, family. Get this thing up. Where is it? There we go. So, that. Oh. Let us share. Okay, so this is Dr. Umar Johnson. Most of y'all probably seen this. We're going to play it out again here. Okay. 1 second, y'all. Okay, let's play it out.
What's the movement? I was raised in one of those mosques, you understand? Mm-hmm. But I had to walk away because I saw how we completely ignored Black people's problems. We completely ignored Black culture. We completely ignored the Black reality. It was all Islam. Learn your Arabic. And I'm like, I'm a practicing Arab. I'm not practicing Islam. I'm practicing Arabism. Why do I got to learn Arab language to worship God? Why do I got to eat like the Arab to worship God? Why do I got to dress like the Arab to worship God? This is not the worship of God. This is the deification of Arabic culture. And that's why I walked away from it. And now African spirituality is my foundation. What's the movement? I was raised in one of those mosques, you understand? But I had to.
So we saw that. Okay. That's the one that was going viral all over the place. Okay. All right. Now, Black folk, when they leave Islam, they typically leave Islam for two reasons. And typically, it's not because somebody came with some amazing argument from some other place to get these folks to leave Islam. Okay. Black people leave Islam for two typical reasons. The first reason is because overly dogmatic harshness. They became Muslim. And when they became Muslim, they faced extreme harshness from other Black Salafis or Black Ash'aris and whatnot for having their own opinion about something. And they go through a crisis of faith, and they end up becoming something else because of this. The second reason is exactly what Dr. Umar he described. The lack of dealing with Black issues. Y'all remember Wajdi Akari, right? Remember him? We haven't talked to him for a long time. Remember what he said about Sheikh Tahir Wyatt? Remember what he said? On the video, it seems like these brothers want to talk about issues of race instead of issues of Islam.
That's stupid.
That's what he said. Did he not say that? Issues of race are issues of Islam. You big forehead freak. No offense to other folks with big foreheads, Somalians and stuff, whatever. I don't know. But the point is, he said that. Record it. If you look at the Prophet ﷺ, he was dealing with issues of race, and I can't think of anything off the top of my head. The only situation where he dealt with his Sahaba harshly was when they overstepped in issues of race, and he was dealing with issues of race long before race was even a thing. Okay, and everybody and up until that time, until Yom Qiyamah, knows what he's talking about. The only time I can possibly think of that he was consistently harsh, consistently, like all the time, was when the Sahaba were overstepping with issues of race. And he wasn't harsh to the people who are being oppressed. No, he was harsh to the people who are doing the oppressing. The Muslims today got it completely and totally backwards. If we speak about issues of race, they're telling us, the ones who are talking about this, following the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad, mind you, but following his sunnah and being harsh against it, they're telling us that we are talking about issues of race instead of issues of Islam, like they're somehow mutually exclusive. That's what they tell us. Mind you, this is not the first time that Dr. Umar Johnson has said this. He said this several times. If y'all follow Dr. Umar Johnson, right? I'm not necessarily a fan of Dr. Umar Johnson, except for in his rhetoric. That's it. Right? To me, I'm not going to get into his, whatever, school and all that kind of stuff, all the problems he got. But as a person of rhetoric, he knows how to talk, right? He definitely knows how to talk. That's a fact. One second, y'all. Black Muslim grassroots is still undefeated, family. We are still undefeated. We are still undefeated, man. Subhanallah, like all the stuff we were talking about years ago. Getting vindicated time and time and time again. One second, y'all. So now let's go to this thing. One second. This is another one of Dr. Umar Johnson. Remember, I said this is not the first time he said it. I don't know why it went viral this time, but he said it multiple times before. One second, y'all. So now listen to what Dr. Umar Johnson says. By the way, Sajid Lippam and Anwar Wright, they both reacted to that clip. Both of them. And you know, we had some issues with both of them. But to be honest, their replies, both of their replies were amazing. They were pretty good. Right? I was impressed. So if you want to check out some good replies, go check those two out, inshallah. All right, because we're not really responding to that particular thing. We're just kind of seeing how all this ties in to the buffer class rebellion. Okay, one second, y'all. Okay, now watch this, y'all.
Even though I'm dressed up like an Arab, even though I dress like an Arab, even though I wear my hair like an Arab, even though I dye my beard like an Arab, even though I'm imitating somebody else's culture, even though I'm imitating somebody else's culture, you don't need to know about being black. That's not important. You don't need to read no black books, no black. The only thing that you need to know about is your religion. And that's exactly what's wrong with black religion.
Wallahi, everything that he's saying right now are things that I was told explicitly even when I first became Muslim. And not just when I first became Muslim, all the way up until recent times. Black Muslims are saying this. Black Muslims are telling other black people, you don't need to know about black and black history and all that kind of stuff. They don't need to know about that. Meanwhile, reading the Quran, and the Quran is like full of history, full of it. Talking about, Beni Israel, talking about, Fir'aun and Ad and Thamud and all this kind of historical stuff is in there. Not to mention Li Ilafi Quraysh and all kind of stuff. But black folks don't need to know their history. And one of the ways that you separate a people from their self-worth is to separate them from their history. They out here telling you that you don't need to know your history, you just need to know the religion, that's it. That's all you need to know. But at the same time, we can recite the lineage of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ all the way to Ibrahim. But us black folk, we don't need to know our history. Everybody else can learn their history except for us. Wallahi billahi till I've been told the same thing. I know if I've been told it, I know for sure you've been told it as well if you're black. There's not possible for me to be the only one. Not possible. One second, y'all. Where are we here? Let it play out.
Black religion is anti-African. So let me get this right. God don't want you to know about who you are or where you come from. He just wants you to know what to believe. God don't want you to know about who you are or where you come from. He just wants you to know this book right here. This is it. Your whole life is this book. Nothing outside of this book is relevant for you. Get your ass out my face with that. I'm not knocking nobody's faith. My dear brother, you know what bothers me the most about religious Negroes? Let me tell you what bothers me the most about religious Negroes. Let me tell you what bothers me the most about religious Negroes. And I didn't say nothing was wrong with your religion. Your religious beliefs are not my issue. It's the political behavior that your religions require, that is my problem. Your religious beliefs are not my issue. I have no problem with the Bible or the Quran. I have a problem with the political behavior that your religious leaders require of you. My problem with the religious Negro. You will go crazy if somebody talks about what you believe. My problem with the religious Negro.
We talked about we talked about this on this channel. This is something that we mentioned explicitly. The what you would call it, how black folk easily fall into this dogmatic trance. And so they're easily led into cults. Now, any Muslim really, with any like just a little bit of knowledge of Islam, can refute what Dr. Umar is saying, right? On a dogmatic level. It's really not that difficult, because in Islam, the religion of Islam itself does not require you to divorce yourself from your people. Rather, this is not something from Islam at all. Rather, every prophet was sent, every people was sent a messenger according to Islam. And Allah says in the Quran that we made you into tribes and nations so you can know each other. So there's nothing in the Quran or the Sunnah that requires people to divorce themselves from their culture or their people, or to not have love for themselves or their people. Rather, the opposite is true. You're supposed to love yourself and your people. However, the experience, the black experience, is a very unique experience, especially when it comes to religion. It's very unique. And the reason why it's unique is because our experience, we have been essentially fed a religion that breeds mass inferiority complex. So we have been told that we are the inferior to the white man through Christianity. And we're not talking about Christianity proper. We're talking about the white man's Christianity. Okay, we're talking about the Catholic Church. We're talking about the Protestant Church, the Anglican Church, and all of these churches that participated in white supremacy, mainly the Catholic Church. They were the first ones to do it. Okay, we're not talking about the proper religion of Jesus, peace be upon him. That's a separate thing. This is how we were trained. We were trained that other folks are superior to us. So when we become Muslim now, because of that training and that mind control, we transfer that training and that mind control into Islam. So we believe that we don't have scholars here that look like us. We don't have Black American scholars, which we do. We don't have Black Canadian scholars, which we do, right? We have both, okay? Dr. Tahir Wyatt, scholar, taught in University of Medina. Dr. Bilal Phillips, Canadian, scholar. Scholar. No scholar doesn't say that these two are scholars. It's just y'all say that they're not scholars. We have them, but we don't respect them because we don't respect us. But the second a foreigner comes into our masajid, we will give them permission, position and prominence. Let them be an Arab. Let them be an Arab, which is what Dr. Umar is saying. And we have example of. Like I said, Black Muslims tend to leave Islam for two reasons and two reasons only. Just two. It's just two. The first is, like I said, this overly dogmatic, mind control type of harsh behavior that we experience with each other because of the self-hate. We just transfer the self-hate from Christianity or whatever we were before into Islam, and we transfer that and we superimpose that onto other folks that look like us. And because of this, the lack of dealing with our own issues within our own community. So we're quick to stand up for Palestine. We're quick to stand up for Lebanon. We're quick to stand up for Kashmir. Quick to stand up for Syria. Quick to stand up for Yemen. Quick to stand up for everybody else. And we have our own thing going on right here, and we will do absolutely nothing. And this is what he's talking about. This is what he is talking about. I don't have to like Dr. Umar Johnson to know what he's talking about. If you want to hear really good replies, right? Believe it or not, listen to Sajid Lipham's reply or listen to Anwar Wright's reply. They had some very, really amazing replies. Amazing replies to this. What we do here, though, is we let y'all know the reality. This is the reality of the situation. So now the buffer classes now, your Muslim brother buffer classes, okay? Your Arabs, your Pakistanis, whatever, they come here, okay? They build the American dream off the wealth of the black community. They do this, okay? That's why they want to be classified as white. That's why they want to be, participating in this type of system. So now when the very same colonizers are tearing them up, they can't come together because all of a sudden, it's not an Islamic thing anymore. It's a Palestinian thing. It's a Syrian thing. It's a Kashmirian thing. And forget your thing, black folk. Forget your thing, your 500-year thing. Forget that. Even though we are here off of your backs, off of your work, off of your labor, off of your blood, off of your sweat, but even though we are here because of you, we ain't helping you. Links in the chat, family. If y'all want to come on, you better hurry up because it's almost Mugger Pier. So if you want to come in and you got something to say, links in the chat, family. Let's keep watching this out. Where is it? There we go.
You will go crazy if somebody talks about what you believe. My problem with the religious Negro.
He's talking about the dogma. It's not just the Muslims; it's the Christians too. You all know what I'm saying is true. Y'all know if you're black, if you're a Negro, you know what I'm saying is true. You have some black grandmas in the church. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying is true. Let's keep watching, y'all.
You will go crazy if somebody talks about what you believe, but you don't do a damn thing when black people are killed. You don't give a damn when black people are hurt, harmed, or discriminated against. If they are not a member of your religion, you don't give a damn about other black people. If they don't belong to your religion, you don't give a damn about other black people.
Is this the religion of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu? Did the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, was he only concerned with the welfare of the Muslims explicitly? Or was he concerned with the welfare of his wider community? Why was the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, why was his nickname Al-Amin, the trustworthy? Who named him this? The Muslims only? He was known as Al-Amin even before the revelation was given to him because he was concerned about the affairs of the wider community. So because of his mannerisms and his way of dealing with people, dealing with his own people who were, particularly harsh, especially in Mecca, but he dealt with them with kindness and concern. It's y'all, when you became Muslim, all of a sudden, y'all are the ones who had to be dogmatic. Ain't nobody ordered you to be dogmatic. You've been ordered to worship Allah alone, to make your salah, to pay your zakat, to fast the Ramadan, and to make the Hajj. And Allah says in the Quran, you know, that he sent the Prophet Muhammad SAW with the best of manners. The best of manners. Now, I know I got some bad manners. I know. I'm taking accountability for my own bad manners, all right? And I'm working on it. But you can imagine if I wasn't a Muslim, how terrible I'd be, right? You know what I mean? It's because, believe me, I'm a step up from what I could have been, all right, if I wasn't Muslim. Just trust me on this one, all right? But the point is that if you don't have love and concern and respect and kindness for your own people, then how are you expect other folks to have love and concern and respect and kindness for you? That's the point. You can't expect people to treat you the way that you do not treat yourself. Y'all hearing me? Let's keep watching, y'all.
Let's be honest. Can we be honest? Can we be honest? Most black religionists don't care about black people who don't belong to their religion. Am I lying? Am I lying? Y'all don't give a damn when police kill us unless they belong to your religion. If they didn't belong to your religion, you don't give a damn about other black people.
The biggest example of this, unfortunately, just happens to be the Muslim community. The wider Muslim community. This is an indictment particularly against the black Muslim community because it's a fact. Y'all remember, where my day ones at? When George Floyd was assassinated, y'all remember what Nasser al-Hambali did? He couldn't wait to put out a video when Muslims came in support for George Floyd and the protests. He could not wait to reprimand these Muslims for going out to protest and supporting George Floyd. And we had some work for him. And what did he do? He ended up getting our channel, whatchamacallit, banned or whatever, right? He ended up doing it, him and with the help of some of his friends there, right? Permanently shut down. Remember that? Y'all remember that? They didn't permanently shut down any Jewish channels, any Christian channels, any white supremacist channels. And they came over here to do that. To stop us for giving them that work. Y'all remember? Where my day ones at? Who remembers that? Who remembers all that? Now, for us here in 2024, if you've been Muslim for a long time, you know very well that Muslims have historically always been in the forefront of aiding and helping the black community, black Muslims. Not just black people, but even other immigrant communities. They have always historically been in the lead. That's why you have your Malcolm X's and your what you call H-Rap Browns and, all these kind of folks that, they're known for doing work. Okay. Then sometime in the late 90s, we say this all the time, something changed, right? We've seen particularly Salafiyah spread everywhere. It was growing like wildfire. It was changing the community. People were becoming Muslim all over the place. There was community, there was love, there was, cooperation. Then all of a sudden it all changed. And then it became this kind of stuff, where you cannot no longer talk about black issues. You can't deal with the black issues and everything like that. And, you know, you can't deal with race issues. And these are things I've been told explicitly to my face. You can't deal with black issues when you're Muslim. I've been told this explicitly all the way up until recently. From way back then, in the late 90s to from other black folk on top of that. So we are not dismissing what he's saying here. Anyway, let's keep watching, y'all. We'll let it watch it out, and then we'll close it off. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's give it a couple more minutes. 1 second, y'all. If anybody wants to come on, your last chance to come on before Mugger comes in.
Now let me go back. Where the black church at? What does the black church have for our children? What does the black church have for our children for the summer? What does the black church have for our children to do during the summer? Oh, I know. You know what they got? No reading instruction, no math instruction, no meaningful mentorship. The black church only got one thing for black kids, two things for black kids. Guess what they got? Guess what the black church got? Vacation Bible study. Vacation Bible study. Vacation Bible study. That's what they got. That's the only thing the church got. Come study the Bible. Don't study your history. Don't study your history. That's not important. Same thing with the Muslims. They got vacation Quran study, vacation Quran school. Come study the Quran. Nah, don't worry about black history. Being black is not important. Even though I'm dressed up like an Arab, even though I dress like an Arab, even though I wear my hair like an Arab, even though I dye my beard like an Arab, even though I'm imitating somebody else's culture, even though I'm imitating somebody else's culture, you don't need to know about being black. That's not important. You don't need to read no black books, no black. The only thing that you need to know about is your religion. And
now, this is kind of a mute point because what else are you going to study in the church except for the Bible? What else are you going to study in the masjid except for the Quran? Right? These are places of worship. However, there is another underlying point, since you mentioned both the black church and the masjid, right? Whereas those of y'all who have been around the black church for a long time, you've seen that the black church now is filled with single mothers, old women. This is pretty much old women, single mothers, and, you know, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the demographic of the black church. Men are not going to the black church anymore, right? It's like 90% women. And as for the masjid, over here in Canada, right, the typical masjid is filled with old people. When I came back from Saudi, I was shocked because, you know, we're in Saudi. I was in Saudi for almost 10 years, all right? And I came back to go to Jummah here, and I'm seeing what's going on. I was like, it was like a culture shock because it wasn't the same type of demographic culture when I left, right? When I left to go to Saudi, you know, the masjid was a place for youth and, you know, programs and all kind of stuff. You know, and then when I came back, the typical masjid, it was all old people. Okay. And the Jummah khutbahs, especially the Jummah khutbahs, are terrible. They're not good. They're terrible because if you give the khutbah that lifts the people up, one or two things will happen, right? You're going to get fired from the administration because they don't want you to have any type of position as an imam. You're an employee, right? Or if you talk particularly politically, the government will come in and shut you down, right? So they don't want that. You get me? There are a few very good imams out here in Canada still. They're very good speakers. They're trained and everything, that they have knowledge and all kind of stuff. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong. right? But the point is that the masjid and the church, first of all, are places where you're supposed to teach Quran and Bible and stuff like that. That's where you're supposed to teach. However, at the same time, the masjid should be a place where the community comes together in order to do things for the community. And what is happening is the masjid, particularly the black masjid, is becoming like the black church, where you don't organize the people behind building schools, you don't organize the people behind building community, things of this nature, right? Not like the times of old. You get me? It's just a place where you go and you pray and then you go home. You feel me? So because the administrations are run by the masjid administrations are not necessarily run by religious people, just run by run-of-the-mill lawyers and engineers and professionals. You know what I mean? They're running it like a business. They're not looking to see the better interest of the wider community. Okay? They're not looking for that. They're running it like a business. And so that's why you see particularly what happened over here is that several imams from these masjids, when they started speaking about Palestine, what do you think happened? Somebody put it in the chat, please. What do you think happened? What do you think happened? When they start talking about Palestine and the genocide in the masjid over here in Canada, some of these men, thank you. Thank you, Sister Tika. They got fired and shut down, both. Both. You get it? So we've never been a fan of tying the masjids to, you can do it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it to get the, the charitable status or anything like that. But once you get your charitable status and everything like that, you're pretty much have to toe the line whatever the government is giving you, right? But family, that is our time. I would like to thank everybody who came out. Don't forget to like on your way out. I want to thank the brother Mahoda Mystery with the $10 super chat. May Allah reward you and bless it for you and multiply it for you 1,000-fold. Ameen. I want to thank everybody who participated tonight, everybody who liked, who subscribed and shared. And family, free the land, beloved, free the land, free the land, free the land. And Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullah.